I never thought a simple wig could change my life. Honestly, I bought it on a whim, just for fun, thinking it would be harmless. A little experiment while Emma was at work. I didn't expect it to completely flip my world upside down, or for me to discover a side of myself I didn't even know existed. My name is Ryan. I'm 24, working in a small marketing agency in the city. My life is routine. Wake up, get ready, head to the office, crunch numbers and campaigns, and then come home to the quiet apartment Emma and I share. Nothing extraordinary, until the wig. I've always been curious about crossdressing, but never seriously explored it. Not out of shame. Well, maybe a little, but mostly because I didn't know where to start. I mean, it wasn't like I had experience with makeup or fashion. Emma's world was different. She's bold, stylish, confident. And me? I was content in jeans and t-shirts, blending into the background. That Saturday morning, the apartment was quiet. Emma had left early to meet her friends for brunch, leaving me with the entire place to myself. I wandered into our bedroom, idly browsing some online stores, when I stumbled upon a wig on sale. Curiosity piqued, I clicked buy, thinking why not? Just for fun. When the package arrived 2 days later, I couldn't resist. I tore it open like a kid on Christmas morning, revealing a long, silky wig the color of honeyed chestnut. It smelled faintly of the salon, professionally styled, and unreal. My pulse quickened as I held it in my hands, staring at the strands that felt impossibly soft against my fingertips. I looked at myself in the mirror, holding the wig tentatively over my head. Just for fun, I muttered. I shrugged and placed it on, adjusting it carefully. The transformation was subtle at first. The wig framed my face differently, softening my jawline, adding a playful curve around my cheeks. I couldn't stop staring. It wasn't just a wig, it was a mask, a key, a doorway into something entirely new. I laughed at myself nervously, unsure why I was so captivated. It's just hair, I whispered. But even as I said it, a shiver of excitement ran down my spine. The reflection in the mirror didn't look entirely like me, yet it wasn't someone else either. It was a version of me I hadn't allowed to exist. That was when the first thought hit me. What if I actually tried it out in public? I shook my head, heart hammering. No, not yet. This was private. Just me, the wig, and the mirror. And so I experimented, pulling the strands into different styles, brushing them, tucking them behind my ears. I tried Emma's lipstick once, tentatively smudging a soft rose color across my lips. It was messy, imperfect, but intoxicating. The reflection staring back at me made my pulse race. Soft eyes, delicate features, a confidence I had never known. Hours passed. I was lost in the thrill of transformation. I practiced a few expressions, tilting my head, pursing my lips, observing how each angle changed the way I looked. I couldn't help it. This was exhilarating. And as I caught myself laughing at my own reflection, I realized something terrifying and exciting. I wanted more. That's when I heard the front door click. My stomach lurched. Emma was home earlier than I expected. I froze, wig slightly askew, lipstick smudged, fingers trembling. The sound of her footsteps in the hallway sent shivers down my spine. I scrambled, tossing the wig onto the bed and wiping my lips frantically. Ryan. Emma's voice floated in, casual but curious. Hey, what are you doing? I forced a casual laugh, trying to sound normal. Nothing, just cleaning. My pulse hammered in my ears as she entered the room. I avoided looking at her directly, terrified she would notice the small signs of my experiment. But then something unexpected happened. She smirked. You've been quiet today, she said, raising an eyebrow. What's going on? I shrugged, heart pounding. Just reading, I guess. Emma walked past me, glancing at the bed where the wig lay. Interesting choice of hair, she said casually, her tone playful. You trying out a new look? I froze, unsure whether to admit the truth or lie. But her laughter was gentle, teasing, not judgmental. Maybe, I muttered, unable to hide the thrill in my voice. Her presence made the excitement sharper, more vivid. That night, after Emma had gone to bed, I returned to the wig. Carefully, I placed it on my head again. The reflection in the mirror now seemed more alive, more real. I tried a different lipstick this time, a slightly bolder shade. I practiced a few poses, moving my shoulders, tilting my head, adjusting the strands. The sensation of being someone else, and yet undeniably me, sent shivers down my spine. By the time I removed the wig, hours had passed. I felt dizzy, exhilarated, and a little scared. Something had awakened inside me, a desire I hadn't recognized before, a thrill of transformation and self-expression that was impossible to ignore. I had crossed a line from curiosity to obsession, even if I didn't realize it yet. I lay in bed that night, staring at the ceiling, my mind racing. One thought kept repeating, what if I tried this for real? What if people saw me like this? The idea was terrifying and exhilarating in equal measure. I knew my life would never be the same. The wig, which I had put on for fun, had unlocked something I couldn't put back. And so began the journey, an obsession that would blur lines, test boundaries, and push me into a world of transformation, suspense, and self-discovery. The next morning, I woke with an electric mix of excitement and dread. The wig lay on the dresser, teasing me with its silky strands, whispering promises of transformation and self-discovery. I couldn't resist. Emma was still asleep, and the apartment was mine. For the first time, I felt the thrill of being alone with my obsession, free to explore without judgment. I slipped into the wig, adjusting it carefully. Each movement of the strands against my shoulders, each adjustment around my face, heightened my heartbeat. I stared into the mirror, tracing the curves of my face, softened by the hair. I had tried this before, yes, but today felt different. Today, I wanted to push it further. I opened Emma's makeup drawer cautiously. The assortment of lipsticks, brushes, and palettes was like a treasure trove, forbidden and irresistible. My hands trembled as I picked a soft, shimmering eyeshadow and a bold lipstick. The first swipe of color across my lips sent a shiver of exhilaration down my spine. The soft brush against my eyelids made me feel alive. I was creating a version of myself that was both thrilling and terrifying. As I applied blush, contour, and mascara, I became acutely aware of the changes in my posture, my expressions, my very essence. The way I held my head, the tilt of my shoulders, the subtle sway of my hips in front of the mirror, it all felt unnatural, yet intoxicatingly right. Every brushstroke and adjustment pulled me deeper into this persona, this feminine version of myself I had never allowed to surface. Hours passed. I tried different outfits from Emma's closet, skirts, dresses, blouses. Each garment transformed me, accentuating my new form, highlighting features I had never noticed before. The thrill of seeing myself fully transformed was almost overwhelming. I twirled in front of the mirror, the skirt flaring, the wig perfectly framing my face. I laughed, a soft, delighted sound that surprised even me. But with excitement came fear. What if Emma returned unexpectedly? What if someone saw me like this? The thought made my stomach knot. I hid the wig and makeup in a drawer, but my mind refused to settle. The suspense of potential discovery added an addictive edge to my experiment. Every creak in the apartment, every passing sound outside made my pulse quicken. Later, I decided to push the boundaries further. I wanted to see how far I could go. I practiced walking in heels around the apartment, the unfamiliar sensation making me stumble slightly at first, then gradually flowing into a natural, confident stride. The sway of my hips, the careful balance of my posture, it all contributed to the illusion, the transformation that had become my obsession. As the day went on, I became more daring. I tried different makeup styles, blending colors, testing eyeliner techniques I had seen online. Each successful attempt increased my confidence, but also heightened my vulnerability. The reflection in the mirror became a double-edged sword, one part thrilled by my beauty, another anxious about being caught. Then came the first real test. Emma was due back earlier than usual. Panic surged as I scrambled to hide the evidence of my indulgence, the wig, the brushes, the makeup. My heart raced as the front door clicked. I froze, pretending to be engrossed in a book. Emma entered, humming a tune. "Hey, you're home early," she said, eyes scanning the room casually. My pulse raced. Could she sense anything different? My hands fidgeted with the book, trying to appear natural. "You've been quiet today," she remarked. "Everything okay?" "Yeah," I muttered, forcing a casual tone. "Just reading." Emma's gaze lingered slightly, playful, almost knowing. I felt a shiver run down my spine. The suspense of potential discovery made my pulse thunder. Every second felt stretched, a delicate balance between thrill and terror. Once Emma settled on the couch, I returned to my secret indulgence. I pulled out the wig, carefully placing it on my head, adjusting it until it framed my face perfectly. I applied a light layer of makeup, just enough to enhance my features without appearing overdone. The reflection in the mirror was breathtaking. I couldn't help but smile, a mixture of delight and nervousness. I decided to test my transformation outside the apartment. I borrowed a lightweight jacket and a scarf from Emma's closet, covering my outfit just enough to venture into the hallway. The thrill of walking past neighbors, of imagining what they might think, made my heart race. Each step in the hallway felt amplified, every reflection in the mirror lining the corridor a reminder of my double life. By the evening, I was completely immersed. I had perfected a look that I knew would turn heads if seen publicly. Yet the thrill of secrecy, of potential exposure, was addictive. I practiced poses in the mirror, adjusting the wig, tweaking the makeup, perfecting the persona that had taken over my thoughts and actions. The suspense reached a new level when my phone buzzed. A message from Emma appeared. "Hey, just curious, can I see that new look you've been experimenting with?" My chest tightened. She wanted to see me transformed. The thought of showing her both thrilled and terrified me. But the excitement won. I sent a reply. "Sure, but only if you promise not to laugh." When Emma arrived, I stood nervously in the living room, the wig perfectly in place, makeup enhanced but subtle, outfit carefully chosen to complement the look. Her eyes widened slightly as she entered, a mixture of surprise and delight. "Wow," she whispered, stepping closer. "You look gorgeous." Her words sent a wave of exhilaration through me. I had expected teasing, maybe mild amusement, but not this. Emma's genuine admiration made my heart swell and my mind race. The secret I had nurtured in private was now appreciated, even celebrated. But with admiration came a new tension. If Emma was impressed, what about others? What if friends, neighbors, or coworkers saw me like this? The thrill of exposure was irresistible, yet terrifying. The boundaries between private indulgence and public recognition began to blur. That night, I lay in bed, wig carefully stored, makeup removed but lingering in my mind. The excitement, the transformation, the thrill of being admired, it had become intoxicating. I knew I couldn't stop. I had crossed a line from curiosity to obsession. And I also knew that the next step would be the hardest. Facing the world as this new version of myself, balancing desire, secrecy, and the suspense of what might happen if I was discovered. The days that followed were a whirlwind of thrill, anxiety, and discovery. I had become addicted to the transformation, the wig, the makeup, the outfits. It was no longer just a fun experiment. Each time I looked in the mirror, I felt a surge of confidence and excitement that both exhilarated and terrified me. But with excitement came risk. It all started innocently enough. I decided to venture out of the apartment dressed in my transformed persona. Emma was supportive, teasing me with encouragement, and the first time I stepped into the street, the reactions were electrifying. People glanced, whispered, and smiled, some even staring longer than comfortable. The thrill of being noticed, of having a public identity separate from my usual self, was intoxicating. My heart raced with every step. But soon, the thrill began to merge with anxiety. I had to hide my double life at work, avoiding coworkers who might recognize me. Every reflection in store windows became a test. Could I maintain the illusion, or would someone see through it? I spent hours practicing my walk, my gestures, my posture, so that the gorgeous version of me was believable and natural. The real suspense began one afternoon when Emma's friend Mia came over unexpectedly. I had been experimenting with a new makeup look, the wig cascading perfectly over my shoulders, and a form-fitting dress that accentuated every curve. Panic hit when I heard the knock. There was no time to change or hide the evidence. Emma opened the door, greeting Mia with her usual warmth. I stayed behind the couch, heart hammering. Mia's eyes widened as she scanned the room, and then she spotted me. "Oh my God. Ryan," she gasped. "Is that you?" I froze, caught completely off guard. The thrill and terror collided in a dizzying mix. I had been discovered, my secret suddenly hanging in the open. My mind raced for excuses, explanations, but no words came out. I could feel the blush rising to my cheeks. Mia stepped closer, curiosity and excitement mingling in her expression. "You look amazing," she said, almost breathless. "I didn't know you could pull this off." Emma grinned, clearly enjoying my discomfort.
"See?
I told you he's gorgeous." I laughed nervously, trying to play it off as a joke, but inside, my pulse was racing. The suspense of being exposed, even partially, was intoxicating. And yet, a part of me craved it, the recognition, the admiration, the thrill of being caught in this new persona. The next challenge came at work. A client meeting had been scheduled, and I was dared by Emma to attend in my transformed persona for a fun experiment. My stomach twisted at the thought. Walking into the office as this version of me felt impossible, terrifying, but also irresistible. On the morning of the meeting, I meticulously prepared. The wig, styled to perfection, makeup applied with precision, outfit carefully chosen to balance elegance and subtlety. I rehearsed my walk, my gestures, my expressions, until every movement felt natural, though my heart was pounding. Arriving at the office, I felt eyes on me instantly. Whispers, glances, the subtle admiration. It was intoxicating, thrilling, and terrifying all at once. My coworker Jake approached, a bemused smile on his face. "Ryan, wow. You look different," he said, curiosity obvious. I forced a casual smile, trying to maintain composure. "Just trying something new," I replied. My voice sounded foreign even to me, lighter, softer, carrying a confidence I didn't fully feel. The meeting proceeded, tension coiling around me like a tightrope. Every glance, every comment, every subtle stare kept me on edge. I felt like I was performing, not just at work, but in life itself. And the suspense of being discovered at any moment, of my two worlds colliding, was almost unbearable. That evening, returning home, I was exhilarated yet exhausted. Emma greeted me with her usual playful smirk, clearly aware of the internal storm I had weathered. "You survived," she said, eyes twinkling. "And you did amazing." Her praise was intoxicating, but it also made me realize how fragile this double life was. The wig, the makeup, the persona, I could feel the tension of maintaining it. Every moment was a balancing act, a dance between thrill and risk, between desire and exposure. Then came the ultimate test. One night, as I was practicing a new makeup technique, there was a knock at the door. My heart froze. Who could it be at this hour? Emma wasn't home. Slowly, I approached, wig slightly askew, makeup fresh, dress carefully arranged. Peeking through the peephole, I saw a figure I didn't expect, Mia. She was smiling, holding something behind her back. My pulse thundered. "Ryan," she said, voice playful, but filled with intrigue. "I know what you've been up to, and I think it's time you show me." Panic and excitement surged simultaneously. My secret was no longer hidden. The suspense, the thrill, the fear, it all converged in that moment. Every instinct screamed to run, to hide, but every part of me wanted to step forward, to embrace this exposure, to see where it might lead. I opened the door slowly, hands trembling slightly. Mia's eyes scanned me from head to toe, admiration and curiosity mingling in her gaze. "You look incredible," she whispered. The next few moments blurred in a dizzying mix of tension, laughter, and nervous excitement. The reality of my obsession, my transformation, and the thrill of exposure collided. I realized that there was no turning back. This persona, this new version of me, had taken over, demanding attention, recognition, and risk. But the suspense was far from over. As Mia stepped inside, I heard the faint sound of Emma's keys at the door. My heart lurched. Emma was back earlier than expected. The tension spiked to unbearable levels. Would I be caught? Would my double life be exposed? Or could I maintain the illusion and navigate the chaos of my two worlds colliding? Every movement, every breath, every glance became amplified. I was walking a tightrope between excitement and disaster, craving the thrill while fearing the consequences. The wig, the makeup, the persona, it was no longer just a game. It was my reality. And then, just as Emma opened the door, the moment Emma's keys jingled at the door, my heart nearly stopped. Mia stood behind me, eyes wide with curiosity and amusement, unaware of the tension that now gripped the room. I froze in place, the wig slightly slipping at the back, makeup fresh and gleaming under the dim apartment lights. Emma opened the door, humming a tune, and immediately froze as her gaze fell on us. My chest tightened. Everything inside me screamed panic. How much had she noticed? Did she understand the transformation, the obsession, the secret I had nurtured in private? Ryan. Mia? Emma's voice was calm, but carried a weight that made the room feel smaller. What's going on here? I swallowed hard, trying to force a casual smile. We were just experimenting, I muttered, voice shaking slightly. Mia laughed nervously, sensing my tension. He looks amazing, she said quickly, glancing at Emma. I just wanted to see, what all the fuss is about. Emma's eyes flicked between us, lips twitching in what I couldn't immediately read. She didn't laugh, didn't scold. She just stared, a mix of surprise, amusement, and something else, curiosity, disbelief. My mind raced, every possible scenario playing out like a film in my head. I tried to adjust the wig subtly, tugging it back into place. My pulse thudded in my ears, every second stretching into eternity. The suspense of whether Emma would accept, reject, or react violently gripped me like a vice. My hands were trembling slightly, and I could feel my heartbeat in my throat. Then Emma spoke, and the words hit me like a jolt. You look gorgeous, she said softly, almost whispering, a smile teasing at the corners of her mouth. A wave of relief and exhilaration washed over me, but the tension didn't disappear. It shifted. Now, the suspense was no longer about being caught, but about what would happen next. Would Emma encourage me? Would she make me stop? Or would this open a door I couldn't close? Mia stepped back, giving us space.
Wow.
I didn't expect that reaction, she said, smiling, clearly enjoying the drama unfolding. I could barely process her words. My mind was a whirlwind of emotions, excitement, fear, relief, and anticipation. The reality of being seen, acknowledged, and admired in this new form was overwhelming. I had crossed a line, and there was no turning back. Emma took a step closer, her gaze sharp yet playful. So, you like this? She asked, voice teasing but with an edge that sent shivers down my spine. I nodded, words failing me. The truth was undeniable. I loved it. The thrill, the transformation, the secret finally exposed in a safe space. I couldn't stop now, even if I wanted to. Mia's eyes sparkled with mischief. Well, it seems like someone's having way too much fun, she said, laughing softly. And just as I was beginning to feel a small sense of relief, the unexpected happened. From the hallway, I heard another set of footsteps, slow, deliberate, and unmistakable. Emma's older brother, Mark, had come home early. My stomach dropped. He appeared in the doorway, eyes narrowing as he took in the scene, me, transformed beyond recognition, Emma smirking with amusement, Mia standing awkwardly. What's going on here? Mark asked, voice sharp, curiosity and suspicion mingling in his tone. I felt my heart leap into my throat.
Panic surged. What would he think?
Would he laugh, judge, or expose me. Every second stretched painfully. I tried to remain calm, but the wig felt heavy, the makeup suffocating, the dress restrictive in more ways than one. Emma stepped forward, placing a reassuring hand on my shoulder. "Relax," she said softly, but her eyes flicked to me, silently asking, "Can you handle this?" I could barely nod. My mind raced. Every possible escape route, every excuse, every lie ran through my head. But deep down, I knew this moment had changed everything. The suspense, the thrill, the danger of exposure, it was only just beginning. Mark's gaze lingered on me, sharp and assessing. "Ryan, or should I say, wow," he finally said, a mixture of disbelief and amusement breaking through. My pulse thundered. The suspense was unbearable. How would he react? Would he keep my secret, or would my entire world come crashing down? I took a shaky breath, glancing at Emma, then Mia, then back at Mark. Everything hung in the balance, my secret, my obsession, my new identity, all teetering on the edge of discovery. And at that moment, as I stood frozen, wig slightly slipping, heart racing, I realized something terrifying and thrilling at the same time. There was no turning back. My life, my identity, my obsession with transformation, it was now out in the open. And the next move could change everything.